What's up, trade crew? Welcome back to HVAC R&D, hosted by Rhydon Atzenhofer. I'm stoked to have two great friends joining me on the show tonight, and I'm happy to get to do some catching up as well as dig into some topical discussions. So let's get it going? Yeah, come on. This episode of HVAC R&D is brought to you by Bosch Home Comfort as the newest segment sponsor of the show. Lots of content to come your way featuring their inverter ducted split systems, Climate 5000 mini splits, residential commercial water source products, furnaces, inverter package products, tankless and heat pump water heaters, combi boilers, and more industry-leading products. And they will also take over as the named sponsor of the Give More in 2024 segment starting next week. This episode is also brought to you by the show's newest vendor hub partner, Global to Source. If you are looking for training on any and all of their products, from their industry-changing AMRAD Turbo series of capacitors to their Dytech surge protection and voltage monitoring, you can click the link in the HVAC R&D Vendor Hub and request training with your local or regional sales executive today. Also, please make sure to check out the HVAC R&D Vendor Hub for more information about Bosch and Global to Source, as well as take advantage of discounts for BetterHelp, Chirp, and Service Titan, and there are more to come throughout the rest of the year. The show is also still looking for its next Powered By sponsor. If you're interested, please reach out via the contact link on hvacrnd.com or drop me a line at hvacrnd@gmail.com and I will send you the 2024 press kit. I'm also grateful to be part of the 2024 AHR Expo Workforce Development Team that has been working with Chicago's Prosser Career Academy and High School, a local high school with a dedicated HVAC program helping to bring the next group of tradespeople to the industry. Massive thank you to Bosch Home Comfort, Insight Partners, Hobbs & Associates, and the Air Control Concepts family of brands, as well as the Moore Sales Corporation for their support. I could not be happier to have such dedicated partners on board for this project. And if you're interested in helping the school with R&D and the rest of the team, please reach out to me about that as well. If this is your first time listening to the show, I welcome you and thank you for taking the time to give R&D a shot. I am based in North Carolina, and the show is focused on research and development within the trades. The main objective is the pursuit of building a better, more knowledgeable community of HVAC professionals and fellow tradespeople by learning from the past and embracing new advances in the industry to help us all be better for the future. If you're not following the show online, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at hvac.rnd, and also as the HVAC R&D podcast on LinkedIn, TradeHounds, and Facebook. If you're not listening to each week's shows, you can go find and listen to me wherever your favorite platform is, whether it be Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, and about 20 other streaming platforms. Please make sure to follow the show, leave me a review, share me with your friends, share me with your trade crew, and you help me continue to keep pushing this out there. If you want to work with me, you know how to do that. And also, as always, make sure to check out the website and swag shop and join the mailing list at the bottom of the page. Tonight, the trade crew shall bear witness to the return of two of the show's most beloved guests. Supporters from the beginning, these two men have proven to have become more than just podcast guests or social media acquaintances. These two are truly men of honor and character, and I am better for knowing the both of them. I know. God, wasn't that too just sentimental? All right, let's just cut the music and let's do something a little bit different. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, HVAC R&D proudly brings to you the HVAC Tag Team Champions of the World, the HVAC Doctor Matt Waxer, the HVAC Foodie Ilija Martinovic, the A-Team Outlaw.
Thanks for having us back, brother.
Thanks for having us. Yep.
Amazing to be
here,
back,
guys.
and all I can say is, finally, the
Finally.
doc and the foodie have come back home to HVAC R&D podcast. Couldn't
That's
be
right.
happier to be back here for another episode, brother.
No, I'm pumped. If you're listening to this episode, this is, I think, our third attempt at getting this to work. So
Third
we
time's a
have,
charm.
I have a good, solid hour plus of the show before the show content that I think will eventually turn into some funny things on Instagram and social media, hopefully. So look forward to that. But, you know, everybody knows how this show starts, and the guests always go first. So, Doc, what'd you bring to the show, brother?
I got to start this one again. Didn't I start this one last time?
It's like deja vu, isn't it?
I thought we were
Almost.
doing, this is a
Deja
redo,
vu.
so, you still got to do it in the same order, right?
Deja vu.
Glitch in the Matrix.
Deja vu. Sometimes if you see it 3 times, it clicks. Well, gentlemen, this evening we are having Paradise Delight from the great brewers at Flying Monkey Craft Brewery in Barrie, Ontario. And this is a coconut lemon chiffon double IPA coming in at a nice crisp 8.3 alcohol by volume. And let's give her a rip. Haven't had this one yet, so this is going to be a new experience for me.
Very nice.
Very floral, very fruity on the first smell, and
Hello.
who got DoorDash during my beer opening? And that definitely is, it starts with lemon and coconut punch, like coconut up front and coconut finished. That one is, yeah, I haven't had an IPA like this ever before. This one's going to be interesting, gentlemen. Mr. Ilija, Mr. Foodie, I hear you have a local brewery can of your own to get open here, my friend.
Yeah, tonight I decided to go with Nickel Brook Brewing Company out of Burlington, Ontario, Canada. Decided to go with Naughty Neighbor Pale Ale. And we got 4.9% alcohol per volume. Pour color, I like this, lemon drop. So that's interesting. So here we go. Smells like beer.
Probably tastes like it too.
I hope so.
Tastes like beer. It's good. It's good. It's good with the foodie, man. I like it. So yeah,
We have an
definitely
official
recommend.
foodie approved beer.
Definitely recommend Nickelbrook and Naughty Neighbor Pale Ale. Very good. Very good.
All right. Well,
And Naughty Neighbor's not a stab or jab at our brother from another mother down
Well-
in the Carolinas, is it?
oh,
Well, I posted
nice.
a picture, and maybe Rhydon will post it again, but it is a picture of a bald eagle, American colors, stars and stripes here, and thought of Rhydon right away when I saw it, so another reason I purchased it.
Uh-oh, those might be foodie fighting words. I'm kidding.
I don't know.
Nothing
This
but
makes
love
it
here.
sound like he appreciates my patriotism. That's what it
I
sounds
do.
like to me.
That's what I was going for. That's what I was going. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. Let's go with that.
That take sounds better. Let's do that.
Okay. All right, A-Team. So I'm bringing an outlaw back to the show. This has kind of been the kick here lately. Nice pop. Good, smooth drinking, light beer coming out of Colorado. 153-year-old brewery that's opened back up after being destroyed by a flood in Denver several years ago. So it's It's quite tasty. Goes down real smooth. I love the double pickaxes on the back that says punch the pickaxe, so you know where to punch it if you're going to shotgun it. So, yeah, it's a great going into the weekend beer.
And maybe what we can do is potential future guests that might be coming up for you that you and I talked about. One of them lives out in that kind of neck of the woods, and maybe she can express some over to you, brother.
I know, right? Which one of those other guests that might be coming back on the show soon was trying to send me one from Arizona, which it's been a couple of years. Maybe we might be able to get away with it this go around. I don't know. We'll find out. Stay
tuned. Coming up on the HVAC R&D podcast, some new mystery guests.
Exactly. Which and I am in full guest booking swing at the moment. If anyone listening is interested in being on the show, reach out to me and let's talk about it. I like having all kinds of people on this show. It's not just for manufacturers or contractors or people out in the field. It's for this industry. Every type of job in the HVAC industry is important to make it run and operate. So it's nice to have people from different parts and pieces and areas of it so that more of us can kind of learn about those other jobs to help support what we do each and every day. Which, that's really the whole goal of the show too. That's the research and development part about it. We can't learn about all the ins and outs of our industry without talking to the different people that do it.
And people can't learn about all the different areas of our industry without people willing to step up to the plate and discuss the different areas that they work in, because HVAC has so many different branches and divisions and areas where people can find employment and work in. It's not just going to slap in a residential furnace and split AC. There's so many different areas, from residential to commercial to industrial to the side of distribution that Rhydon works on, and many, many more. So there's so many different avenues that one can find a rewarding career in within our industry.
No, absolutely. So, summer is rocking down here. We just had, I say that, but we just had a nice little deluge of rain the last couple of days with some wraparound rain from Hurricane Debbie. Hopefully, if anyone listening down here was affected by it, hopefully everything is all right. Family's good. You guys are good. And we're all back to work now that the sun's back out.
Actually, we got a few remnants of Debbie today. Chased me off a roof pretty good, but yeah, she showed her face today.
There's a little bit of a Debbie Downer.
A little bit of a Debbie Downer. Now, I thought there was a storm that was kind of up north as well that was going through like Pennsylvania and New York, but I don't know if it moved north at all or if it just kind of went out to sea. So I know that was messing with my buddy Sal from Bosch. His flight's getting here, there, and everywhere.
That's a good question. I don't know.
It could have been Debbie. Debbie does a lot of things, so you never know.
Why are you blaming everything on Debbie? What did she ever do to you other than make you wet?
Debbie does Dallas. Debbie does Pennsylvania, Ontario. What are you gonna do?
Welcome to the Rated R edition of the HVAC R&D podcast, brought to you by
explicit content. Click. So yeah. Did we talk about Cajun Joe last time? I can't remember if I talked about
You did update us on his new.
Yeah.
You did update us on replacing his old system there in his carpentry shop there.
Yeah. So Cajun Joe update.
Hooked up.
Yeah, he boshed up the wood shop. I wish he could spend more time in said wood shop. It's about time he did. But he likes to work. Likes to go out and solve problems. He's 84 and HVAC, he loves it.
If it's, your passion and what you love doing, it's not work. And,
that's right.
Cajun Joe's a prime example of, someone who loves the industry, and it gets him up and going in the morning each and every single day, and he's just continually plugging away at it. And man, we'd be as lucky to, have his longevity and also knowledge base. We can just tap into that brain of his again. That'd be That'd be awesome. You got to get him back on, brother.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I said that the other day. I need to have Dad back on the show. Figure the next time I can try to get up there to do it. Of course, I'll have to figure out. I might have to borrow the laptop for you. You might have to send that thing down here to me.
What was it? Swipe the desktop? What was it? What was
Yeah.
the joke? Yeah.
Gosh. No, that was just drag it. Just drag it. Yeah, so that's... what did we talk about that one? Was that 52? Was that your show we talked about that?
I think it was, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So, so one thing we did talk about in the first attempt at the show was that episodes that involve a member of Red Seal Inc., which is Doc, Foodie, HVAC Rach, and HVAC J 604, account for, I think, a little over 4 or 5% of total downloads for the show. So, excellent work and contribution from my Canadian brothers. Very soon, Canadian sister Rachel will be on the show in a couple of weeks, so I'm pumped for that. She and I have been trying to make that work for like 6 months, it feels like. So that's going to be a good time.
She's awesome. She is running her own business, HVAC business, and I know she's very busy. I talk to her once in a while, but she's keeping above board and actually doing a hell of a job from what I hear from her.
Well, and that's one of the main reasons I want to have her on the show, aside from the fact that she and I talk about Formula One all the time, so it's about time we got to put that on a podcast. But I've talked to people in this country about starting a business and the steps and the different things you have to go through, so I was curious to speak with her and kind of talk about the things that you have to go through in Canada to open and run your own mechanical business.
Yeah, Rach would be a wealth of knowledge on that front, and like Ilija said, an absolutely amazing person that both Ilija and I are lucky enough to call a friend as well.
Yep, I know that feeling. So, Doc, I know you've got a couple of announcements, and you've got some things going on. Unfortunately, some technical difficulties derailed a little bit of this, but you want to tell everybody what's been going on and what they can do?
Sure. But first, before we get to that, I'm a little more curious about your new canine penitentiary set up there, brother.
Oh, Lord.
I'm kidding. Congratulations on the new addition to the family.
So, yep, you heard it here. You can't tell I've had a few before we started this show. You heard it here.
I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
That's exactly right.
What's the officer problem?
Yep, so I know everybody knows that Chris and I lost our first little guy, Riker, back in March. And, it's one of those things when you get used to having little dogs. We don't have kids. Our dogs are our kids, whether people want to agree that dogs can be family or not. I challenge
100% they are.
I challenge you to say they're not. But it's one of those things like you want another one, but you don't want to feel like you're replacing the other one because it was so long. But the lady that we got Cody from, who's our youngest one that used to hear barking all the time, who's luckily doesn't seem to bark quite as much these days. They had this little guy and a couple of his siblings that were up for, I wouldn't say adoption, but up for finding new families. And we thought he had been adopted, and then about a week later it popped back up. I'm not sure if the people that had adopted him just couldn't do it or if they backed out or what. And there were a ton of people in there that were like, you guys need this dog. And we had multiple people that were even trying to crowdfund and volunteer us that we were getting this dog, whether we wanted him or not. So we went and met the little guy and couldn't say no to him, because you never can when it's a little puppy that's like 2 pounds and cute as a button. So what do you do? So we have our newest little mascot for HVAC R&D now is little Captain Rhodes David Atzenhofer. So he is quite literally little R&D. I'll put some pictures up of him probably before this show goes out, but I'll put some up of him with some R&D swag. But yeah, and then when he starts
really
getting
nice. You might get some pictures of him biting your foot.
Oh my gosh. So when I was recording with Jessica last night, about 15 minutes before we were done with the show, he woke up and he was tearing my dang feet up the whole time, and I was I was like muting the squeaky toy trying to get him off my foot, and then I'd unmute to talk, and then back and forth, and then I couldn't reach him, so I had a little paint stirrer and I whacked him on the butt when he was trying to bite my power cord, because he just got a little bit spicy there for a minute. And now he's
even spicier if he got his teeth through the power cord.
Yeah, no joke. And now he is in his little canine penitentiary, as Doc calls it. We've got like a little, about 5 foot wide, like hexagon, like travel, little pen to put him in if we ever take him somewhere and just need to take him with us. So I stuck him in that in the office every time he starts biting stuff, trying to help derail that just a little bit. He's finally passed out, so hopefully I will keep all of my fingers and toes, at least for another couple hours.
Fingers crossed, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations to you and Chris on the new fur brother, new fur kid edition.
Fur baby.
New fur
There's
baby.
The word I was looking for.
Which and actually, it's also so he's been promoted to middle child, but today is also Cody's 3rd birthday. So happy birthday, little buddy.
I'll drink to that. Cheers to Cody.
That's
Beers
right.
up.
Beers up. Oh, man.
So I think that segued into me derailing, you segueing to me about things going on in the HVAC doctor realm of reality.
That is correct.
No, I guess we got to go back to that reality. Uh-oh. We're in for trouble. Well, some announcements on my end. So it was over the weekend when we were doing our, attempt number 2 of recording, that my HVAC Doctor Instagram account hit 15,000 followers. So I'm blown away that many people want to follow what I post and the content I put out. So thank you, everybody that is following my account and following my shenanigans. And we did actually get a giveaway up and going. We promised one at 10,000 followers. It took a long time to get everything organized across all the great companies I was working with for it. It is closing August 13th, so by the time this podcast comes out, we'll probably have announced a winner for the giveaway. It's one lucky winner is going to be winning an awesome amount of swag and products from companies like Refrigeration Technologies, from Infra-Air HVAC, HVAC Know-It-All, HVAC Tactical, Navac, and I've also thrown in a couple of things myself. So it's just my way to say thank you to everybody that's taken the time to like and follow and join me along this little social media journey. And man, it's been a blast, and looking forward to working out some more interesting giveaways moving forward. It's stay tuned, it's going to be fun. Other interesting little things that we got into this week at work was I found on a pool dehumidification unit a failure that I have never seen in all the years I've been doing this trade. And I sent the pictures and some video of it to a number of friends, Rhydon and Ilija included, and many others, to ask if they've ever seen something like this this failure on a brand new unit. And no one in all of their years of experience came back with, "Oh yeah, I've seen that." Everybody was like, "Damn, that's a pretty interesting failure." So what am I talking about in terms of what I saw? Well, we were trying to get a pool dehumidification unit up and running, and in AC air conditioning mode of operation, we found that the unit would almost trip on high head pressure, and the liquid receiver, the bottom sight glass level, all the refrigerant would drop out. So the refrigerant was getting backed up somewhere. So it took some deep dive digging, but eventually found out that the liquid line solenoid, the neoprene or nylon seat in the valve stem had been heat distorted and fell out of the brass ring that it's mechanically pressed into, and was blocking the outlet of the solenoid, backing up refrigerant in the air conditioning condenser. And I've seen solenoids destroy themselves due to like liquid refrigerant hammering, being oversized, but a failure like this I've never come across before. And the only thing that I can attribute it to is that the valve stems were added in after the valve bodies were brazed in, but the valve bodies were too hot, causing heat distortion, and that neoprene nylon seat to fall out and end up blocking up the outlets of the valves. So really cool one to find out in the field. It was an interesting week to get to the point of figuring out just exactly what was cursing this system, and thankfully we got it up and running properly now.
Well, what I think is so crazy is that you had it was 8 valves altogether, and 4 of the 8 had the exact same just crazy problem.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just who's making Vegas odds on that one?
Oh, I should have bought a lottery ticket on that unit, brother.
Yeah, it's 50%, right? 50%, right? Best odds in Vegas, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, the house wouldn't win on that one.
Oh, they would win. There would be it'd be a 6-5.
They always win somehow.
Oh yeah.
Somehow, some way.
So what about you, Foodie? What you up to?
Oh man, well, I will not lie. The last 4 years of my life has been upside down and around and around. I guess the first thing to come up is my divorce is finally or almost done, so that's a bit of a relief and kind of get through that chapter of my life. I'm happy to say that both my kids are with me, so that's always a good thing. My son has enlisted or has attempted to enlist and joined up. He has a few more interviews to go through, but will be joining the Canadian Navy hopefully. He did graduate high school and he wanted to pursue a military career, so I guess stand behind him on that one. So that's a little bit of a heartache for me, but also proud as hell of him, so that's a good thing. Work-wise, been very busy, constantly starting up equipment and teaching on the side. Well, I shouldn't say teaching on the side, actually doing service seminars for our contractors. So I'll go meet them at their shops and I'll run through our equipment with them. So that's kept me busy as well.
Which in that right there, what you've been doing there, this is to talk about a few things we're going to talk about as we get into the show. But we had a longtime listener that gave me some questions, or a question kind of about transitioning into a position where he's now going to be doing seminars and trainings and product trainings and different things, and he's not used to being in front of people at all. So I've got a little list of questions for you guys, kind of as how you've done those things, and what were things that have helped you be successful, and what are some things that helped you get over any kind of shyness and things like that. So yeah, we're going to talk about some of that stuff too.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Looking forward to getting into that.
And let's see. Work has been, again, busy, doing a little bit of everything. There's a note here that I should talk about my massive Cat 5 cable that I was running.
You had to whip that bad boy out today, didn't you?
Yes, it is. So I was actually taking shelter from the remnants of Hurricane Debbie. So I whipped out my Cat 5 cable. It's probably about 30 to 40, maybe even 50 feet long. So I was able to connect
That's what she said.
I was able to connect into the controller in the rooftop unit and then find some shelter on the roof and had my laptop underneath there, so I was still able to continue working, which was good. So in this case, length does matter. So yeah.
And again, that's what she said.
Social media wise, or not much really going on. Well, I shouldn't say not much. Up to about 5,000 followers, so that was pretty cool achievement. Do have a couple things on the go. I hope will come through. Just waiting for some approvals, and then I might be able to do a little bit of a documentary kind of thing that's coming up. So that'll be interesting.
Nice.
If that comes through. And then and might, not 100% sure, might take the foodie in a slightly different direction. I won't get rid of the HVAC foodie, but I might actually start something else along the foodie line. So that's kind of in the works as well. So yeah, a few things on the go, but nothing really spectacular, really.
And it all revolves around Ilija bought an air fryer. So he's going to start an account called Air Frying with the Foodie.
Hey,
the HVAC air fryer.
Oh yeah, if you bought an air fryer, then yeah, we're gonna talk. But I love me some air fryer.
No, so. Actually, it's the one thing that I don't have. It's the one thing I don't have. I do not have an air fryer, and I'll probably get chastised and all that stuff for it. But no, I've never gotten around to getting an air fryer.
No, you will not be chastised. We have a Ninja Foodie that we jokingly call Foodie all the time. I should just put a sticker on it. But I will be honest, some of the best steaks I've cooked in my entire life, I've cooked in that air fryer.
I have heard this.
Insane.
I have seen videos of this.
It doesn't even make sense how they get crispy, but they're super. It's nuts. It's totally different than grilling or cast iron or any of that. It's crazy.
Do you cook it on a pan a little bit before and then dump it in the air fryer? That's what I've seen. I've seen they do like a little few seconds on each side, and then they dump it in the air fryer.
Which that's not a bad idea, but a lot of times when you do that, you lose half of your seasoning. In the pan when you blacken it, unless you you can just over season it to the point that all you taste is salt. But
well, you especially don't want to do that when you're seasoning a very good steak with the spice of life, Cajun Joe spice.
That's right.
Available at HVAC R&D Swag Shop.
Very, very true. 2 and 4 ounce options. I really probably just need to come out with a 6 or an 8, which that's what she said too. But
you weren't lying when we said we were going like R and explicit content advised.
Yeah, we gotta click the explicit content when I put this one on Spotify. But no, it's crazy. We'll depending on the cut of meat, sometimes we'll put like a little bit of olive oil on it, and then we'll season it, and then I use my HVAC honed drain pan corner bending skills, and I literally build like a little drain pan out of tinfoil, and I put the steak in that, so it helps keep the juices in it when it's cooking.
Nice.
And I preheat the air fryer to 400, and then depending on type of steak and size and thickness, that's what she said.
I missed it. Completely missed it. I was thinking about your steak.
That's what she said.
Oh dear Lord.
Anywhere from
how do we divert this back to 8 minutes Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
400 degrees, baby.
There we go.
No, it's crazy.
We have a favorite cut of steak to make in your air fryer?
A fillet's good. Pretty much anywhere. Honestly, I love cooking a strip in there.
Yeah.
Cooking a strip, and it's good because the little fat strip gets kind of crispy sometimes. It almost turns into like bacon.
Nice.
Like that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find yourself a Brazilian butcher and get a cut of picanha.
That sounds like a great nut.
No.
Picanha.
Yeah, something like that. No, picanha is... Brother, like, search up Guga Foods if you've never watched any of his steak cook-offs and like steak cooking adventures. Picanha is a cut of steak from the rump area of the cow, and it has a fat cap on the top of it, similar to like what you're saying with a strip. And it's a strip is a little bit more tough. Like, so picanha would be kind of like if strip and tenderloin combined together and had a little extra beefier flavor in it. It is a friggin' amazing cut of steak if you can get it.
Probably a
Probably
specialty
can somewhere.
butcher shop, right? Probably.
There's got to be
special-
something like that around
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Yeah, it's a cut of steak like renowned and made famous in like Brazil. So if there's any Brazilian butchers in your area, then you could probably definitely find it. Or any true butcher shop that you go into, yeah, they're going to have their preferred cuts that sell, but you could order a custom cut as well, and it's well worth it.
There we go. Taste of Brazil, Supermercado, down in Matthews. So yeah, there is a Brazilian butcher shop.
There you
it's
go.
about probably an hour from me.
Ooh, sounds like you got to make a drive. Well, before you make the drive, see if they have picanha.
Yeah, phone call first.
Just don't ask for a Brazilian when you get down there. They
It
might give
says
you
many,
something
many
else.
options. Yeah, many options of the most wanted Brazilian items. So, I guess that's not something you need to look for in one of the greatest Canadian cities to visit. Foodie, you still got your list, or did you already lose that?
Oh no! I got the list.
He was able to unlock the screen by procuring a finger.
So there was he procured a finger. Oh, jeez. So in the show before the show earlier this week, we discussed who was going on the service call, like way up in.
Okay, so it was my one of my co-workers went up to a place called Muscle Something Lake. It's about a 26-hour drive from London, Ontario, so pretty much straight up north that he had to do. So as we were scrolling around on the map, we just happened to start coming across some names of some interesting little towns in Ontario.
Yep.
And so then we kind of Googled top town names in Canada, and I think we got a pretty good top 6 list here in no particular order, but
Viewer
maybe a
discretion
particular
is
order.
advised.
Yes,
Following list of towns contains explicit content from the foodie.
I mean, and I'm going to preface it by saying maybe in a particular order, maybe not in a particular order. You decide, when you hear the list, right?
Create your own Canadian city Mad Lib.
Let's see. If you are going to go to the Big Beaver House, Ontario, go to Dildo, Newfoundland, where you might climax Saskatchewan, come by chance in Newfoundland, blow me down in Newfoundland, and it's going to be a happy adventure in Newfoundland.
And then end in the White River, Ontario, from the Hornpain.
And all my sponsors
Ontario.
go away.
This is completely Canadian geography session brought to you by the HVAC Foodie and HVAC Doctor.
And let's just say these are all official towns, cities. So
And if you think that is any way explicit or perverse, you got a dirty mind.
Yes,
you
this
can
is
be our
all out
friend.
of context. You're all out of context, people.
You'll fit right in.
Exactly.
It's like when
That's
they do the fun with golf and fun with football audio compilations. Those are always great.
Oh yeah. Well, it's also like our trade. So, for example, at work, I have to talk about tapping, screwing, reaming, shaft length, shaft diameter, and many other
Shaft
things.
lubricant. Very
Yes.
lubricant.
Exactly. And I have to be a professional about it, even though I'm laughing like a little schoolgirl in my mind.
The blower opening.
Exactly. Wet compression.
I would say we reintroduce yourselves to the audience in case anyone's never met you, but I think we took care of that.
Doesn't your vacuum pump really suck, Matt?
Per one of my latest memes, yes, Navac vacuum pumps, they suck. Yeah, they really suck. Round 2.
There it is. What's up, trade crew? Are you tired of playing microfarad hide and seek with your service truck inventory? I think it's time that you tested out the Turbo 200 family from Amrad Manufacturing and Global The Source, where efficiency meets durability and finding the right capacitor is never a game of chance. With the Turbo family of universal capacitors, you're not just getting any regular capacitor. No. You're getting the HVAC industry's version of a superhero cape. Reliable, efficient, ready to save the day, these ruggedly tested, made in the USA capacitors are prepared for whatever you run into during your service calls. These truly unique and industry-changing universal capacitors allow you to replace over 200 individual sizes with just their 4 models: the Turbo 200, Turbo 200X, Turbo Mini, and Turbo Mini Oval. And did I mention they have a 5-year warranty? Seriously, what are you waiting for? Do the math and upgrade your truck stock setup today, because the Turbo family has got you covered. Visit the HVAC R&D Vendor Hub and click on the Global The Source link to request training from a local account executive in your market. Easy peasy. Amrad Manufacturing, where performance meets perfection. Because in the world of HVAC, good enough isn't in our vocabulary. It's turbo or nothing. And now, back to the show. I had a longtime listener reach out, and he was in the field for many, many years, and now he is transitioned to a more kind of, I guess, customer-facing sales position. He's doing a lot of hydronic sales and engineering where he works.
That's
and
unfortunate.
he is
Okay. Good for him.
And now he is being tasked with doing some training. I don't know necessarily if it is all contractor-based training or if he is, doing product training with engineers and customers and other people, depending on what the job is. But he had asked me kind of, how did I get over, really just talking, not only with stuff like the show, but also with in front of customers and doing trainings, because I've done a lot of different trainings for contractors over the years and still do. But I said, the guys I've got coming on the show tonight would be perfect people to ask this question, because both of you have kind of been in the same career path, trajectory that he has had throughout his career. So I guess I want to talk a little bit about, Foodie. I know you've done training at local community colleges as well as a lot of your customers. Doc, I know you do some training and some other things with Kilmer and where you work. So I guess, one of the first things is, can you share a little bit of kind of a personal experience with overcoming shyness when you first started to step in front of customers to educate them on products and what you were doing?
Sure. I think the first thing is prepare yourself. Obviously know what you're going to be talking about and try to have as much information that you can have available, and try to predict questions that may come up. Whenever I do training, I try to give enough information where they won't have any questions, right? And so that kind of takes away that part of it, where you do not. The worst thing going up and talking is you're afraid that if someone's going to ask you a question, you're going to get stumped, and you may have this feeling, oh, well, this guy's representing the company, he can't answer that. Look, I don't know everything, I just pretend that I do, right? So the best thing I could say, prepare yourself with as much information as you can. Try to predict or think of some questions that may come up, and if you don't have an answer, right, tell them you'll get an answer and you'll get back to them. And that's the easiest thing to do, right? And the first thing is, I will tell you right now, your first time doing it, you will fumble, you will screw up, right? But the most important thing is, when you're done that session, you go back, sit for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, think about where you fumbled, how to avoid that fumble again, and the next time you go do that session, you avoid that, or you change how you do that approach. And that's the best advice I can give. But you will fumble on your first attempt, but completely normal. Don't worry about it. As long as you go back, review what you've done, and change things how you need to change to be successful, you'll be all right.
Well, and I think one of them is you definitely have to have the ability to, if you don't know the answer, be honest with them. Be like, look, I don't know it. I can find it. Or hell, you guys may be able to find it right there. Because sometimes it's just a simple question that you might not have even expected the question, or you might not have even thought about it, or maybe a situation that you necessarily didn't, ever deal with.
When I get up there, first of all, I'll introduce myself and I'll tell them what I'm talking about, and I will basically come right out at the first couple of minutes. Let's say, I don't know everything. I only pretend that I do. If I can't answer one of your questions, I will get an answer for you, either by the end of the session or the next day, but I'll get you an answer. And that kind of settles things down, right? So when that question does come up that you don't have an answer, you can revert back and say, okay, you know what? I don't know. I will get that for you. And I've been in many training sessions where I'm on the other side listening, and people have asked questions and they didn't know. And that's the most common answer. You know what? That's a good question. I will find out for you.
What about you, Doc?
I second everything that Ilija said there. He just took this, wind right out of my sail. Something about being cut from a similar cloth.
There you go. That's true.
That's true.
It's honestly, you can't know everything, and you can't expect to predict every question that's going to come from your audience.
Absolutely not.
You're being brought in as the expert on a topic matter. And as the expert on a topic matter, you have to have done your homework. You've got to know what you're talking about. You got to know as many ins and outs of what you're talking about that there can be or could be. And as you continue to study and learn more about it, you're going to develop confidence. You may not develop the confidence to talk in front of people, but you'll develop the confidence regarding the topic matter. There's two issues here at hand that I can see. So you can have shyness with regards to your knowledge on a particular topic matter, that you may have shyness, reservation, or anxiety that I know a decent amount about this topic or this product, but I don't know everything. Well, guess what? No one can know everything. There's always going to be someone out there that knows more than you do.
That's the truth.
And there's no shame in that. And if you find yourself in a situation where you're the person who knows everything about a particular topic, and you're not surrounded by people who know a little bit more than you, get out of that environment and go to an environment where there's people who know more, because you're going to become stagnant and you're not going to grow and develop.
Well, and
sorry, go ahead, right?
I was going to say Tommy on his show, episode 127, he talked a lot about having the dumbest guy in the room mentality. He's like, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're not growing.
Yep.
So
100%.
You've got to be in a situation where you're challenged and you're driven to learn and do more and understand more and figure more things out.
And one thing you can do is, when someone asks you a question that you don't have an answer to, and when you do find that answer, the next session, a week from now or whatever, you incorporate that into your talk.
Correct.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you've now added that little bit of extra to that. So anytime someone asks a question, if you can remember what that was or write it down, you add those questions into your talk, you will eventually get to the point where there will be no more questions to ask. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of this little group of different kind of questions as we're bouncing around through them is learning from mistakes. So, and that's definitely you're right there sharing kind of a time when somebody stumped you a little bit. How did you handle it? You figured out a way to find them an answer, and then you added it to the presentation going forward, so that if anyone else has had that, you're covering that knowledge for them. So you're continuing to improve and update, and every presentation that you give almost has to be an ever-evolving organic document, because the industry is going to change. So there's always going to be something new to plug into it. We've talked a bunch before about, we've seen more change in the last 10 years than we saw in the 20 to 30 before it. And that's that's going to continue to happen.
It's not going to slow down at all.
No, it's not. And the technology and the regulations and everything else can't keep up with each other. So it's just an ever-evolving door of what's next.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to circle back to the second of the 2 points I brought up at the beginning. So the first one, I think we've exhausted and covered quite well, of having shyness around your expertise and knowledge on the topic matter you're discussing.
Yep.
Now, that can actually be a source of strength and a source to reduce your shyness when actually standing in front of an audience and talking to them. Public speaking is not an easy thing. Just hands down, simply put, it's not something that is easy to go out and do. And there's a lot of variance and a lot of difference in individual personalities. And some people shine talking in front of people. They can blather on about, pardon the term, bullshit, and seem like they're knowledgeable about something and just continue to spout away. But for the vast majority of people, and I presume that the gentleman that asked this question is probably in the same boat, it takes a lot of practice to talk in front of people. And it only gets better with continued experiences doing so. So your first time, you're going to be nervous, you're going to be anxious, you're going to get the cold sweats, what have you, and that's perfectly normal and natural. Like, I remember back when I was a graduate student in university, and I got thrown in front of 1,400 undergraduate students, and I had to give a 3-hour lecture on an area of psychology that, yeah, I knew it, but like, I was a grad student. I wasn't a professor. And the professor was sick, couldn't come in that day. So I got an email saying, I got to go give this lecture. I've never stood in front of that many people and talked. Like, it was an absolutely nerve-wracking experience. And guess what? It all went okay.
Yeah.
It's when you're in those situations, you go back and rely on the fact that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I know the topic that needs to be discussed. If questions come up, fine. No problem. I'll answer them. And if I don't know the answer, like we said, I'll get you an answer. I'll have to look into that, and I'll get back to you on that.
Well, and talking about that, I'm gonna jump down a little list just a little bit, because you brought up, another main point is connecting with the audience, but you had to form a completely different connection with an audience of 1,400 students as opposed to 14 guys in a classroom. We can cheat. We're like, here's a box of donuts. I'll be your friend. You be mine. But what are some things that you guys do? What were some things you did in that larger situation? But what were some things that you do to kind of connect and build that rapport with your audience to get it, to really help kind of bring them into the discussion early on?
So I think one of the things, when I was teaching at Humber College, it's a local community college, I was teaching the gas fitter course, and this might not work in this if it's a one-up class, when you're going to meet a contractor and you're just meeting the guys for the first time.
Yep.
But when I was doing the very first day of class, I would come up I would have everyone in. First thing I would get them to introduce themselves to me, right? So it would be like, okay, what's your name? And there was 3 questions. Your name, why did you pick this course, and do you work in the field, right? So you'd get an idea of every student, what their capability is, what their knowledge is, what their stuff like that, and they kind of open up, and you go around through the whole class, let them do that, and then at the end, I would introduce myself, how long I've been in the field, why am I doing this, so on and so forth. So you break the ice that way, right? It might be a little harder to do with it's a one-of kind of a classroom, you're just meeting the contractor for 2 hours or whatever like that. But you think of something fun to do, maybe a quick, on your first PowerPoint, maybe a little quiz or something, like a little game to break the ice with a reward. Whoever gets the question right, gets a little reward, a little a beer cozy or whatever you have as a little prizes to give out, right?
Thermostat screwdriver.
Exactly, right? So,
quick, who can convert this Celsius and Fahrenheit temperature?
Oh, geez, come on, let's do that. Okay, give me one. Let's see.
Let's see here. Do you want the initial temperature in Celsius or Fahrenheit, brother?
Up to you.
It's always Fahrenheit, Doc. What are we doing here?
I know. But, I'm going to channel my inner BAS, building automation controls technician, for a minute in Canada. What is 15.6 degrees Celsius?
15.6 Celsius, 60.08 Fahrenheit.
Attaboy.
Ding, 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 we have a winner.
So I think if you want to break the ice with like a small group that you're there only for a couple hours, come up with something fun, a little quiz at the beginning or a little game, just to break the ice, get everyone to relax a little bit. In the end, they're all there to learn, right? And they do not want to sit there.
Hope so.
Yeah, at least you hope so. Yes. I mean, another trick is to keep the size of the room down to a minimum. I find when I have more than 10, 15 max, you start to lose the room. No matter what, you are going to have 2 or 3 guys that are just going to be there to distract everyone else. Mm-hmm. So I think room size is another very important thing. You start to have 20, 25 people. I mean, I'm not talking about 1,400 people like what Matt had, but you get the average HVAC tech guy in there. You get 20 of them or 25 of them in there. You're going to lose the room. There's nothing you can do about it. You will just lose the room because there are guys there that just don't want to learn. They see it as a day off and that's it, right? So keep the room size down to a manageable size and start off with something fun and give something away, and you'll be able to succeed that way.
And please don't judge the sales guys that goes to the training that's heard it like 5 times, that sits in the back on his laptop. Don't judge us. Don't judge us for that.
But as the presenter, as Ilija, and both Ilija and I have experienced doing different training sessions, Ilija more so than me, is you can see in your audience, you can see in the eyes of the people sitting in the audience when you as a presenter, you've lost them.
Yeah.
You need to reel them back in.
Yeah.
So, suggesting hey guys, I've hit you with a lot of information right now. Let's go take 5 minutes, go grab a coffee, go grab a drink, go have a smoke break, what have you. And then come on back with a fresh mind, and this is what we're going to tackle next. And if you have any questions about what we're going to tackle next, think about that on your break. I'll see you in a couple minutes, kind of thing. Or, knowing how to break it with a little joke or something, just to wake them up and bring them back into what you're talking about, is something that can also help out.
Another thing is your audience. Know your audience and what are you pitching? See, for me, when I do training on the control boards and how the equipment works. So I'm talking to HVAC techs, right? Do not make it a sales pitch. Those guys are there. They want to learn. They want to learn what are the shortcuts? What are the little secrets? What are the little, how do I get around this? They need step-by-step information. They do not want to hear how amazing this is. And if you do this, it's going to, a sales pitch to buy this. They don't want that.
Well, don't
Yeah, that's for the sales class.
Yeah.
Don't give them a overly verbose background history of how the controls have evolved to this state.
Yeah. They don't want that. They want to know, if I power this point, where does it? Yeah. If I power this point, where is it coming out on the other side? I want to know what points are connected, what points are not connected, and that's what they want to know. They don't want to know, who manufactured and why we're doing it this way, or it's like we went from BAS to MSTP and IP and blah blah blah. They don't care. They just want to know how it works. Yeah.
Wait, when did you guys go from LawnWorks to MSTP and IP? No, I'm kidding. I don't really want to know that. LawnWorks is dead.
That's true.
So yeah, know your audience and don't make it a sales pitch. Do not make it a sales pitch. That's the worst thing I find as an HVAC tech going into a seminar where you want to learn something. You're there to learn something, and then it's a sales pitch for something that you will not be using. You know what I mean? Or don't have the ability to purchase. So
anytime I ever, dealt with or was doing training with customers, if they're like, hey, can we have a discussion with, my 4 guys and we're going to talk about this? I ask them before I even say yes, what do they really want me to teach them?
Mm-hmm.
What do they really want me to help them learn?
Yep.
Because that can be in your introductory getting to know your audience. So,
but also if it's in the audience, sometimes the audience is, you came prepared thinking it was one audience and you got a different one. So for me, I'm either talking to engineers, I'm talking to business owners, I'm talking to purchasing managers for the business owner, I'm talking to the guy out, sitting in front of the unit trying to figure out a part. I talk to every single one in the chain at some point.
Yeah.
So I've got to understand, whenever I'm doing anything educational with each of them, is I've got to understand how their brain operates so I can help try to do the best to help them get what they need to know out of it.
You've nailed that on the head. I honestly think I have the best office administrator in the world. Like, she is absolutely amazing. She does all these setups. She does all the times and stuff like that in the companies that that I go and do the training for, and she will find out exactly what they want, and she'll get a little package together with information. So like we have now a QR code. We used to supply actual manuals to them. Now we just supply them with a QR code that they can scan, and it takes them right to our website with all the manuals. So she'll put a little package together for them. But if they're looking, so say it's June or July, and they're like, oh, we want a service school. Okay, what are you looking to learn? Well, we want to do combustion. Okay, well, we're not going to talk about combustion in June and July because you're not doing it too much. Come September, October, when the fall comes, we'll come back and do that. Do you want to learn anything else? No? Okay, that's what it is. So what you said exactly right is what they want to learn so you can prepare yourself. I have probably about a dozen PowerPoint presentations that I can go through just depending on what they want to learn. And that is so important because you want to go there talking about something and just, again, like Matt said, lose the audience. It's not good.
Well, and you brought up another key point there is, one, support system for helping you be able to do those things you do. But I think, have either of you kind of had mentors or additional support people that have really help to improve your customer interaction skills or improve your training, or have you had people that that you bounce things off of to see what they think, and besides one another? We already know that happens, but if you had a colleague or a mentor that's really kind of helped mold how you approached it in the beginning, that you've kind of taken it from there.
I think it's a ever evolving process, so
I agree with that.
I think between Ilija, yourself, Rhydon, and myself, we all bounce ideas off each other that are related to our different areas and avenues of work.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, even Instagram posts.
Well, and that's
our
that's
social
a huge,
network.
that's a huge thing that we have now. That in years past,
you know, all of us are old enough. I'll date myself a little bit. I'm getting there, boys. All of us are old enough to remember what it was like trying to figure out how to do all these things without social media and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not building our presentation with AI. We're building it from the fact that we actually had to go learn everything we need to do to build the damn thing without using something else to put it together for us. And that's not me saying everybody does that. But artificial intelligence for stuff like what we train and teach is in a lot of ways trying to make more of us redundant. Because everyone thinks they can just use this to build a class to teach somebody and it's going to be revolutionary and you won't need the guys, you know, in the field to come and actually help learn to teach or help teach too. So have you seen anything, you know, artificial out there kind of take away from what you're trying to really teach and convey in classes now?
I've not in terms of what I'm trying to teach when I'm doing customer training or, you know, one-on-one tech training. I have seen development of like kind of AI, more AI-based problem solving online tech support that really is targeted to, in my snobby opinion, more residential like applications.
Yep, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. You see that
I've
stuff too.
thrown some like industry specific, manufacturer specific failure questions that I know the answer to into these various AI support systems, and they come back with such a generic response to the question I've put forth to it that I know the answer to, that it's like, why waste my time going to it? It's of no assistance and no help.
It's funny you say this about AI, because I honestly don't think that our trade, I hope our industry can never go towards AI. And it kind of goes back to Rhydon, what you were saying about did you have a mentor or something like that? So and it made me, when you said that or asked that question, it made me really think. So I've been at this company where I worked for 26 years. Into my second year, I moved into the service department, and one of the things of being in the service department was we put on service schools. And so the contractors would come up to our factory and we would run them through training. We have test boards. They would go into the test bay, work on the equipment, so on and so forth. And your question actually made me think about, did you have a mentor? And it was funny because I came in and I was working with guys that had been there already 20 years, 15 years. So I remember the very first classes, they were kind of like, okay, you're going to be teaching this, right? Never even thought of it before. So I watched them the first time, blah, blah, blah. And I learned from them. And then their knowledge was passed down to me. And then I just used what they taught and, molded it to my way to teach the next seminar. So yeah, it's interesting that you say about mentors. You have mentors. And I hope that my knowledge and my PowerPoint presentations that I have will be passed down to the next person, but I definitely do not want to see AI involved at all.
And yeah, to second on Ilya's mentor point, I have a coworker who we both worked at a company previous to the one we're working at right now, where he was my service manager, and a wicked knowledgeable guy, awesome guy, and I have a similar friendship with him as I do, with both of you brothers, both Ilya and yourself, Rhydon. And I'm lucky that, we're both working at the same company currently. And, he went from, being my supervisor, mentor, and taught me wicked amounts of knowledge to now where I'm teaching him things, and it's more of a reciprocal on the same level kind of mentorship, where we're both now the mentors to each other, and it's absolutely awesome to have. And other mentors that come along, like I'd never think that, I'd have an open line of conversation and discourse with a number of the people I have through social media. So, one that comes to the forefront of my mind is, being able, to openly chat with you guys, but also people like Gary McCready, Trevor Matthews, two people that I never thought I'd ever, have conversations with and be able to bounce ideas off of, or Brett Wetzel from the Advanced Refrigeration Podcast, or Ty Brenneman, Love to HVAC. And those two guys have been an immense help to me. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me that I can, call them up or DM them, and we'll have a conversation just about really anything that I'm going through, or, they send me stuff as well that, take a look over and, give my input and ideas back to them. It's absolutely awesome to do.
Trade crew contractors, I'd like for you to meet the Bosch Climate 5000 Generation 3 range of ductless inverter mini splits. The mini split systems that are engineered for excellence and designed with you in mind. Equipped with advanced inverter technology, these systems adjust to the needs of the space, providing consistent comfort and top-tier energy efficiency. Your clients get the comfort they demand, and you get the peace of mind knowing it's a Bosch. And did I mention it's extremely easy to install and service, whisper quiet, and built to last? Your clients will barely know it's there until they see those low energy bills. Plus, with a varied selection of indoor unit options including wall mounts, cassettes, ducted air handlers, and optional controls upgrades, you can offer solutions that fit any space, from residential to light commercial. The Bosch Climate 5000 Generation 3 of inverter ducted mini splits is the professional's choice for a job well done. Install with confidence and keep your clients cool, calm, and comfortable year-round. Reach out to Insight Partners in the Carolinas and Georgia, or make sure to check out the Bosch link in the HVACRD.com vendor hub for more information about their products and to find a distributor partner near you. And now, back to the show. Well, and I think that's, that's the other side of all the advances in technology and how we can use it, how it's being used really more for the good of the community now in most places. And I think, so many years of, I beat it over the head saying it, but collaboration over competition. There's enough work for all of us. How can we help each other be better? There's plenty of times where I've been, can I do this or can I get this? No, I can't. Call this guy, because I know that guy's going to help take care of him, but we also have the understanding that, I'm going to take care of his guys if he sends someone to me. And it's just, it's different now. And like you said, being able to reach out and talk to and see all these different people, there's also, AC Service Tech Craig, and then Brian Orr. Yeah. There's so much amazing educational training content out there now.
Absolutely. And, people like, a good friend of ours, Pat Finley, like, the 100%. Amazing, teaching and training that he's doing, and the awesome stuff that he's doing on his podcast with Jason and Rich. It's absolutely awesome to see. And there's just so many people, coming out and being willing to share their knowledge. It's a breath of fresh air compared to, when I was in my early apprenticeship. And I'm sure Ilija probably experienced this as well, where you had technicians that you were learning under that wouldn't freely share their knowledge because they thought that if they did, that would jeopardize their job, that they would lose job security because of it.
Yep.
I've personally experienced that a number of times going through my apprenticeship.
I will be honest with you. I have not. And I think the benefit, and I think
we found a unicorn.
Oh, that's, but that's also, that's.
I think just because of the situation that I've been in, I've been with that company again for 26 years.
And that was what I was about to say. That's the difference. That's one of the reasons why I'm assuming.
And these guys, when I joined them and then I joined the service department, I joined them as a team. And it was like, no, you're here to help us and we're going to help you. And there was never this competition. There was always, again, enough work to go around. So that could have been not an issue as well, right? It could have just plenty of work, no fear of losing your job or whatever like that. But I can honestly say the guys that I've worked under, and I still work under quite a few of those guys, it's we call them up or they call me, and the information is flowing back and forth. I mean, we're all on the same team, and in the end, we're all on the same team, and we're just trying to help each other out and get off the roof safely. You know what I mean? So I am thankful. I have never experienced that. I'll be honest with you.
And that's that
awesome,
goes back
brother.
to the company culture around how things are done too.
Yes.
And I think you can show, one of the great things about when you're doing classes and you're doing training is those people you're teaching and training, they can see the culture of your company through how you did this, how you were supported in doing this, and that can help to grow the confidence in them, or their confidence in you, not only as a teacher, but also as a provider of assistance and solutions when they need you.
Yep.
Absolutely, 100%. Couldn't agree with that more, guys.
Yep.
So any other any standout, I guess we could say crawl space confessions about how bad you dropped the ball in a training session?
PowerPoint presentation didn't load one time.
Technical difficulty.
Technical difficulties.
We didn't experience that at all trying to get this podcast recorded.
I tell you,
none
me and computers don't work well together. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So I've had to couldn't get the laptop to work one time. One time I couldn't get the projector to work. So I hooked the laptop up to a projector and I project my PowerPoint onto the wall. Couldn't get the projector to work. So you had 10 guys huddling around a laptop. That was kind of crappy.
I thought he was getting ready to go back to like the dry erase psychometric chart on the overhead projector for a second. I thought that's what we were talking about.
Oh no, that's always scary too, man. Can you imagine you put the dry erase onto the screen? That's the worst, man. That is the worst. I've never happened to me, but I've seen it happen to a teacher, and yeah, not good. Listen, you're gonna always make mistakes. You just have to fight through them. And when something goes wrong, do not show that it's going wrong. Make it look as if that's exactly what you wanted to happen, and fight through it. That's all.
Again, building confidence.
Yep.
Be confident in yourself to overcome.
Yep.
What you're going through. Things like that build perseverance and figuring it out.
I've got a completely different crawl space confessional that
transition.
really is unrelated to the topic that we've been discussing, but I honestly do think it's a important topic to also bridge as well. And we've sort of hinted and dabbled into it a little bit in terms of building industry connections and friends.
Yep.
And really don't be afraid to reach out to people and start building relationships with them, because you never really know just how great of a relationship you can build with people. So Ilya and I met on a roof out in Waterdown, Ontario. He was sent as the startup technician, and for equipment that the manufacturer that he works for makes. And the first day we met, we started shooting the breeze and over a sticker on my hard hat, and
exactly.
It was after that, it was, man.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
We started best friends then and bonded over apple fritters.
Yeah, the next day I bought a box of apple fritters from a place that Matt recommended, and that was the end of it. That was the beginning of the end. Really, we We haven't. I mean, we've probably communicated every day since, or
Yeah.
pretty close to it. Yeah,
Exactly.
about
And
one thing or another. So yeah.
yeah, and it's a friendship that, spawned out of a random commissioning meeting that I value and hold so dearly to my heart.
Oh,
And
anytime I drive by that building, I think about when we were that day, man. Those couple of days that we're on the roof. Every time I drive by it, yeah.
those were super fond memories, brother.
Yep.
And it doesn't stop with just Ilija here in my points I want to bring up. It also extends also in terms of all the time that I've had in person with Rhydon and also with your wife Chris.
Yeah, we've had some fun times, some crazy times, and some great times.
Exactly. It all started in Atlanta at AHR, and brother, Atlanta was like you said, fun times and crazy times, and you know what? I wouldn't change any of those times for anything that we went through during Atlanta. And
No,
Chicago,
because you learn and you grow through crazy things like that.
yeah, and like Chicago, like I'm just gonna flat plane break out, exactly just the kind of person, amazing people that you and Chris are. So, coming into Chicago AHR, my wife Christine was joining me there for the weekend for the tactical awards and a few other things. We flew in a day early, and the day we flew in, Rhydon and Chris came and picked my wife and myself up from the airport, and we spent an absolutely amazing day in Chicago, going through the Field Museum, going to the an event for Hobbs and Associates and Insight Partners that Rhydon was kind enough to get us into.
Yeah,
and it's
got to hang out with our buddy Tony.
Yep. Hang out with Iron Man, Tony Stark. I mean, Tony Mormino himself for a minute. But it's the memories and friendships like that that mean so much, that hold such a special place in your heart that you can never replace. That, guys, like, no word of a lie, you guys have been absolutely amazing. Absolutely love the both of you. Absolutely love your entire families. I couldn't ask for more that's given back to the trade than this for me.
No, and
100%, man.
I am so looking forward to whenever we can get Ilija down here. I can't wait.
It will be hopefully, my goals for 2024 and 2025 is, once I do get my life a little bit back in order, hopefully soon, I will start to be able to actually start to live a little bit again. But definitely want to make the trip either down to Orlando or Rhydon, as you've mentioned many times, to your place down in North Carolina there, man.
You guys need to get down here so I can take you to meet Cajun Joe.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
100%.
That would be awesome.
100%. Like, if
spend a little time in the wood shop, talk about life and HVAC.
We'll bosh it up.
That's right.
If Mr. Poole, Mr. Tactical, can travel around the good old US of A, visiting different areas and connecting with different technicians.
He's doing what I'm wanting to do. We got
why can't some crazy Canucks come visit our brother in the good old Carolinas?
There you go.
That's right. No, and see, then I got to get a sweet studio set up so we can do this with video and look professional.
Somewhat professional.
Whoa, let's not get carried away here. But yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think, I'm trying to think. Because didn't Chris, I can't remember, did we take Chrissy back to the airport? I can't remember.
No, I had
because her flight got
Uber back.
Moved. Yep.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. So because of the lovely weather conditions in the Windy City.
Whew. Yeah, that was
that was a fun night of getting Chrissy rescheduled for a flight that they were going to put her on a very late flight back that would not work well for her getting back to work, and had to spend, the better part of getting ready to go to the tactical awards, organizing and rescheduling her a flight out to get back home at a more appropriate time.
Yeah.
So thankfully that did happen, and we got through that stress. Well, you and Chris were able to go attend the important event that you needed to attend with
we
Bosch.
were at the Bosch party. Had to
Yep.
be there for that. Which again, shout out to Bosch for so much between everything they did to support AHR and those kids at Prosser, everything they've done to support the show in one way or another. Them coming on board for, as of right now, at least the rest of this year, as we kind of start to build a bit more of a sponsorship partnership. So I'm very excited about that. And I know Sal, who was on the show with me in Chicago, is going to be coming back on sometime soon to talk about some things that are coming, because there's been a lot of news around Bosch in the last couple of months with things that are happening there. So it's very exciting. But yeah, so many connections built through just getting to actually spend time with people. It's crazy how quick your network can change, and how much people that you never even thought you'd talk to can truly add so much value to your life. So when you have a chance to talk to somebody you don't know, sometimes you never know how good it could be. Always look at it.
You never know who you'll bump into and how they're going to affect your life.
That's right.
100%. And with the random bump-ins with Mr. Foodie and good old Mr. Rhydon, couldn't be happier to have you two guys in my life and be able to call you guys brothers.
It's true, man. Same thing to you, Matt. Same thing to you, buddy.
Man, I'm gonna cry here in a minute. We sound like
I was just gonna say, is someone cutting onions here or what?
I mean,
we went from rated R to now a big. I'm not crying. You're crying.
This is like a pure Hollywood, epic that we're going.
I think we're too many beers in. Start to get sobby.
That's very true.
I don't know. I'm
Even-
only
even
two in
Cody's
here.
crying over here.
I might need a refill.
Jeez. Well, as we start to get to refill, any other, goals, aspirations, or anything for the next couple of years, that you might want to achieve in your, work life and some other things, or is there any last words of advice or kind of the give more in 2024 part of the show?
I don't know. Let's see. I'm just gonna open up something. Let's see. I'm at 5,025 followers. So my goal by the end of 2026 is to be 5,100. So in 2 years, hopefully I'll get another 70 followers. There you go. No, all joking aside, I think work-wise, nice, slow and steady the way I'm going now. I hope of maybe a few things on the horizon, but just keep going, steering the ship straight. Family-wise, I'm excited with everything that's happening, so I can't complain. Sorry, my cat is running around with like a ballerina dress on. Sorry, man, it just caught me off guard.
We went from Rhydon's canine penitentiary to
Oh my god,
man,
where this cat came from. But
Martinovic burlesque show.
It's a black cat and has like a pink tutu on now. Anyway, work-wise, slow and steady. I know, continuing learning, training. Family-wise, wish my son all the best in his military adventures. My daughter finishing high school and trying to make it down, hopefully, to Orlando.
It'd be awesome to get you down for an AHR in Orlando and have the founding members of Red Seal Inc. sit down with HVAC R&D over a few hitchhikers.
I like it.
Myself, just continue to evolve and continue to learn within our industry. And wherever work takes me, it takes me. Family, it's learning for myself, it's something I'm having to teach myself to do, is learning to take the time away from doing what I do for work and prioritize time with family. And learning that work will always be there, but family may not. And I'm going through an extremely challenging situation with my father at the moment, and the comment I just made really strikes home to what's going on at the moment. So I'm hoping that we can persevere and get through all that, and just rely on the support of family and friends and brothers like yourself through the journey of life that we go through.
Well said, Matt. Well said.
Well, guys, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with me. As always, thank you for taking some time to share your thoughts with the trade crew. If you're not following the show online, please go find HVAC R&D on Instagram and TikTok at HVAC.R&D, as well as on LinkedIn, Trade Hounds, and Facebook as the HVAC R&D podcast. Make sure to follow the HVAC Doctor and the HVAC Foodie. They're not hard to find. They're pretty cool guys out there. You can find them pretty quick. And also, if you're not following the show on your favorite streaming platform, please follow, like, and rate the show. Leave me a review. Share me with the trade crew. Don't forget to check out the website and the swag shop. If you want to work with me, you know how to do that. So have a great week, trade crew. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.